Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at The Warlord, issue 23 of volume 1. Now we start off with Morgan taking a swim, having a little bath near a little waterfall, when he sees these golden people dancing and prancing around the water, when they are suddenly attacked by some scary looking green guys. Well, Morgan can't put up with that. Skartaris is littered with psychopaths, and he jumps over and counterattacks I should say, the green skin guys, and pretty much just slaughters them right in front of these golden people. And they look horrified, but they do nothing to help him. Even when he has to go underwater and fight with one of them, they do nothing, and they just say that they are pacifists. And they live in this sort of like communal communist society where everyone is considered equal. They have no leaders. Morgan explains who he is, and he's very upset. And he says, well, if you don't have weapons, how do you fight them off? And they say, we don't. He says he could teach them how to fight. And he says, where do these orms live? That's the green guys, are these orms. And they take him to like a culvert that goes down into a sewer type system where they have like a futuristic city. It's very, very time machine sort of story. So if you've ever seen the old Time Machine movie from I think the 60s, it's very similar to that. So the premise is very similar. This lady goes with him, and she actually picks up a spear and kills one of the orms, but they go in and find this like central power source and disable it, and they take a run out. It turns out nothing is quite as it seems, but it definitely has a nice twist ending that I didn't see coming, and an unlikely hero to save Skartaris' favorite warlord. It starts off a little like, okay, this is too much like the Time Machine, but it does have that interesting twist, and it does change the way the story ends. So it was a fun read. I enjoyed it. I didn't feel ripped off. Now, The Warlord is not a very valuable comic, but it is kind of hard to track down sometimes. It did sell a lot back in its day. It was pretty popular, and considering it has Mike Grell's amazing artwork, I don't know why it hasn't been reprinted. But this was a solid issue, written and illustrated by Mike Grell. Inker was Vince Coletta, colorist was Adrian Roy, letterer was Ben Oda, editor by Jack C. Harris. A fun book. I highly recommend it. This whole series has been great so far. A few minor hiccup issues that were not as strong, but they're still better than most of what's out on the stands today. Especially because we're into a section where there's a lot of self-contained stories, so you could pick up a random issue and have a complete story right there. And it's not uncharitable to say that any teenager could read this. It was approved by the Comics Code, which had massive restrictions. It's not a very gory book very often or anything, so it was a lot of fun, and I would definitely recommend this issue. It was a good self-contained story. But that's just me. As always, thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. Be sure and hit like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we hope to see you on the next one.